are warriors, changing our world day by day. The way of the thrift are warriors, can't rely on the bank, there's no way.
Hey guys, BigSquareRoadRuler.com. California Governor Gavin Newsom just signed an order. What does that mean when you sign an order and you're a governor? Does that mean it's a law? Does that mean that you can go to jail if you don't follow the order? Anyway, Californians are now required to wear masks in most public settings. Newsom says, Gavin Newsom says, you have to wear a mask inside or outside if you're in a public setting. Really? Face coverings mandated while waiting in line, using public transportations, and some work settings. California will require people to wear masks in almost any indoor setting and outdoors when distancing isn't possible, under a statewide order issued Thursday. Now listen to this, quote, "Science shows that face covering and masks work," Governor Gavin Newsom said in a statement announcing earlier. "They are critical to keeping those around us safe, keeping businesses open, and restarting our economy." A number of other states, including Michigan, New York, Maine, New Hampshire, are doing it. So science shows that face coverings and masks work and are critical to keeping people safe. Don't kill grandma, because if you go outside with a face mask, you're going to kill grandma. Who? Why is he saying that? He's no scientist. The experts told him. The experts. They know everything. If it's science, it's true. Depending on the scientist, right? So, Gavin Newsom is saying, yes, you absolutely have to wear a mask. Let's see what the number one scientist in the world on coronavirus is saying right now.
Right now in the United States, people should not be walking around with masks.
You're sure of it? Because people are listening really closely to this.
Right now, people should not be walking. There's no reason to be walking around with a mask. When you're in the middle of an outbreak, wearing a mask might make people feel a little bit better, and it might even block a droplet, but it's not providing the perfect protection that people think that it is. And often, there are unintended consequences. People keep fiddling with the mask, and they keep touching their face.
And can you get some schmutz sort of staying inside there?
Of course. But when you think masks, you should think of healthcare providers needing them and people who are ill.
There you have it. The number one scientific expert on coronavirus says you shouldn't be wearing masks. A couple months back. This is how expert these scientists are. It's kind of like when they said, don't go outside, stay inside. You get no vitamin D when you stay inside, by the way. Oh, and not only stay inside, but if there's a protest for Black Lives Matter, you better go outside and protest. And then go back inside, but because there's an outbreak, not because of the protest, but because we're opening up the economy, we're going to have to lock you down again. That's what the experts say. Is this all making sense to everybody? Is this the most insane thing you've ever heard in your life? Now Fauci, after he gave the 60 Minutes interview, came back and said, and I would call this murder. Fauci confirms public health experts downplayed efficacy of masks to ensure that it would be available to healthcare workers. The experts, public health experts, decided who will live and who will die. And we're supposed to listen to these human beings? And Fauci, just by the way, happens to have massive financial interests in all these vaccine companies. Welcome to year zero, my friends. Luckily, there are people standing up and saying this is complete ridiculous bullshit. Anti-mask protesters disrupt gathering of union, faith, business leaders calling for reinstatement of mask mandate. This is America. We're all free to do what we want, listen to who we want. Don't tell me to wear a mask. If you don't want to get sick, don't go outside. I believe everybody should wear a mask, but you should not be required to. That's the key. You should not be able to tell me what I need to do with my body. If I don't want to get sick, I shouldn't go outside. If that's a problem, should we help people? Sure. But to quarantine a healthy population because they might have 0.003% chance of dying, that's a different agenda, my friends. So now, what's the real reason that Gavin Newsom is saying wear a mask? You have to wear a mask. You have to wear a mask. What about this? This is back just a couple short months ago. Newsom's secretive $1 billion mask deal with a Chinese automaker sparks bipartisan concerns. Gavin Newsom struck a deal with a Chinese company, to make $1 billion worth of masks. 2 months later, when we're coming out of lockdown, so everybody must wear a mask. This stinks to high heaven. I hope enough people go to jail for a very long time because of this criminal activity going on. Gavin Newsom's decision to spend almost $1 billion in taxpayer funds to buy protective masks drew national attention as an aggressive move by California to solve the most nagging problems of coronavirus. This is April 20th. He signed the deal. May, June. Here we are, approaching 2 months later. Everybody's saying, oh my God, thank God this insanity is almost over. Let's get back to work. Gavin Newsom stands up and says, wait a minute. Everybody has to wear a mask because I spent $1 billion on masks. And I got my kickbacks. No doubt. Almost 2 weeks after he announced the deal during a cable TV interview, very few details have been disclosed. Surprise, surprise. The governor's advisors have also declined requests for information about the agreement with BYD, a Chinese electric car manufacturer. He gave an electric car manufacturer from China $1 billion to produce masks. Though the state has already wired the company the first installment of $495 million. There you go. Newsom, who has been praised for his effort to slow the spread of the disease, bristled on Saturday that suggestions that his administration has been too slow to explain a deal that will cost California taxpayers 30% more than its January budget would spend on infectious disease prevention. This is the same guy who said it is your duty to go out and protest when he said it's your duty to stay home, destroy your business, destroy your family, destroy your life because you're going to save grandma. A month later, you're supposed to go out and protest. And now they're going to say, time to lock down again. Will it ever end? This is Bix. They'll probably kick me off of YouTube for this, but hey, somebody's got to say it, right? They told us to stay home. It was so important we had to destroy our lives and businesses. We go inside and we all get it because we're inside. 70% of the infection happened indoors with families. You aren't getting your vitamin D. Then they tell us you have to go outside and protest. It's your duty. And everybody does, so we're going to get it again. They're going to come up with a second wave. It's because we opened up and reopened businesses. You're telling me my business, my life, was more important than the Black Lives Matter protest that matters to people who live a black life, who's had to endure that pain and suffering. I get that. That's their thing to deal with. Do I have sympathy? Absolutely. Am I going to destroy my life and go out and protest because of that? No. And now you're telling me very soon, watch for it, the second lockdown is coming. They're going to say, oh my God, it's spreading. We can't open as fast, or we're going to lock down again. You have to go inside again. You have to destroy your economic situation. You have to destroy your family, the hope for your kids going to college. But the Black Lives Matter protest, which is not even a huge deal for the black community. The biggest deals for the black community are number one, absentee fathers. Number two, education. White supremacy is way up there. Racism is up there too, but white supremacy is not even on there. And that's what they had a hearing about in Congress. This comes up every political cycle. And everybody has to destroy their lives and get out there and protest and spread the disease because 9 black guys were killed by the police. Yeah, each one of those cases should be investigated. If the cops did something wrong, they should go to jail. Should we reform the police laws? Absolutely. Should we destroy our lives, our children's lives, their hope for an education, their any hope for getting a job or keeping a job, and your neighbors and their neighbors, because of the injustices done by a couple police officers? Let's put everything into perspective. And this guy, Gavin Newsom, telling us we have to go outside and wear masks after he spent $1 billion on masks? No more. I'm done. This is Bix. Talk to you later.